That intro is so dramatic. It is so over the top dramatic. Hello, everyone. How are we doing today? Nice new countdown. Isn't it like above? It's just a little extra, but I kind of like it. And I had to go with a super feminist song for disagreements. We're gonna be talking about a lot of stuff. I kind of explained it on my community post if you guys had a chance to see. Hello Reese, hello James, hello Black Phoenix and Robert, hello Figure Drawing. And Angelo is listening at work. Have fun at work. Hello Raymond. How is everybody tonight? It's really weird. I started to hello Bianca. Um I started to look at some of my analytics and they're doing some weird stuff with anything related to Johnny Depp. They're demonetizing even shorts at this point. It's very very weird. Hello Billy. Hello Yellow Spy or Leo. Where's the link? I haven't even I just am saying hi. Give me a little bit. Be patient, I promise. So, yeah, I think everybody knows. I think everybody knows. Everybody knows Roe v. Wade got overturned this week. And apparently, hello, hominous. Hello, hooded justice. I think if, apparently, hose man, I guess that's how you describe it now. If you care about women's rights, it's hose mad. I don't know. I guess so, but yeah, I'm not gonna change on that. Hello, Derek. I am the High Lord of Sandwiches. What amazing. Hello, Shane. And Shane is Shane's been around for a long time. Shane's awesome. But he's also very a lot more right leaning than me. The difference between Shane and a lot of people in my comment section getting upset about this is Shane disagrees with me in a very respectful way. Everyone else is like, oh, bitches be mad. I love owning the libs. I can't take you. I can't take you seriously. I just can't take you seriously. But Shane, I absolutely can. Hello, Medley. Hello, Keely. Hello, Ricardo. Luisa the God. So yeah, I'm gonna drop a link. We're going to have a little bit of a chat. We will see who is interested in hey Saggy went live at 5:45. What's up with that? I seen she was talking about Umbrella Academy. And I love Umbrella Academy. I love me. It's such a good show. It's one of the higher ranking, in my opinion, superhero shows. Like right below The Boys, Doom Patrol, and Peacemaker, right below that. Like it's so good. It's so good. And they're doing a trans line, the trans storyline this year or this third season with Elliot Page. And starting out as Vanya, coming to realize that Vanya is now Victor. And it does it really well. And I really, really enjoyed it. I mean, I'm not through it yet. When I do get through, I'm gonna review it as a whole because Netflix does like the dump, right? Where they just hello Chuck, where they just put all the episodes at once. So gotta wait for that whole thing to be done, and it's a long series, but it's well worth the watch. If you guys haven't seen Umbrella Academy, it's amazing. First season really sticks very close to the comics with Vanya basically becoming, the white violin and going forward. And then we see the second season and this is one of those shows that weirdly enough actually adds to the source material and makes it better. And it's so good in the second season. We see Allison, who's my absolute favorite, go through this, they go through this time portal. That's what the Umbrella Academy is, right? It's time issues. And it does this amazing kind of civil rights storyline. And now for the third season, we're seeing this trans storyline. It is so good. It is so good. Ace, there should be a term limit. Oh my God, yes. Ace, 100%. There should be term limits on everything. Everything. How are we still living in a society when you are elected to the court, you stay on the court till you either leave or die? Like, in the nicest way possible, fuck Ruth Bader Ginsburg for not retiring before Trump. Because he clearly said in those debates, right? He had planned on putting pro-lifers in there. And there should, yes, 100%. I could not agree with you more. This at this point is really, I was pissed when a couple times when I wrote a couple community posts going to the point of, we're living almost in a very fascistic nature, a very draconian world where you aren't able to control stuff like your body. Now, obviously, if you guys are unfamiliar, you are unfamiliar, this does not mean you cannot, it's not like automatically there's this abortion ban around the United States. There was some people that were confused about that. What it actually means is it's going to go to the states. It's a very bad thing. Now in the fashion, hello. It's a very bad thing. Think about what the states have done with gerrymandering. It was the states' fault for the Civil War. It was the states' problem for Jim Crow. All of these things. Yes, America is fucking going backwards. Not only, I'm not being hyperbolic here. Hello, video games in the world. I am not being hyperbolic when I tell you that they are going to go for birth control. No hyperbole, I promise you. Hello, PKL. They are not only going for birth control, but they are going for gay marriage and sodomy laws. That is not a joke. We are living in some of the most fucked up times. And it's, a lot of this is going for Clarence Thomas, and he's very vocal about this. Even Mike Pence, to the point of saying that if they win the midterms, that they want to do an abortion ban. Fuck. I want to clarify my stance here. I am pro-choice. I believe that everybody should have agency for themselves. I believe that that's a terrible, terrible thing for someone to go through. Morally, I am pro-life. I would never be able to come to that decision. I would never be able to. But it's not my choice. It's not my choice what you do. Everybody should have agency for their body. And if you're going to start regulating, women, why aren't you doing it for men? I talked about before, forced vasectomies, make masturbation illegal. You know, it's basically a baby shower. Make it illegal. Come on now. Where are we? It's really, really bad. Really, really bad. All right, let me share my screen here, or my link. And I'm sure I'm gonna have, you know what? I'm curious, to be honest with you, if I'm gonna have a bunch of keyboard warriors, because I had a bunch of them this week. A bunch of them. How are men regulated, Shane? Enlighten me. Should I be allowed to do drugs? Yeah, it's your body. Why would I stop you from doing drugs? You go for it, buddy. Finally, I am sorry. I am an inconvenience at how slow I am. Let me see if I can pin this. There we go. First try. Hello, Teva. How are you today? They're mobilizing the hogs? Wait, I don't get it. This will only result in more suffering and death. Oh, absolutely. Abortion's not going anywhere. Abortion is not going anywhere. There is actually, anybody got drugs, right? Sure. It only gets to a point where people either, you're seeing a lot of like Disney and Microsoft, Tesla. It's funny. I can't wait to see the people that love, like, the people that suck off Elon Musk realize that he's pro-life and probably Amber Heard's baby daddy. I can't wait for it. It's coming. And that his transgender daughter actually fucking hates him. Hello, warm Lily, good evening. Let's see, Leo was real interested in this conversation. Hello, Leo, how are you? Are you there? Yeah, well. Hello, Gingerlocks. Hello, Leo.
Hi. How's it going?
Good. What's your disagreement? You were right away, wasn't it?
Yeah, about your what you said something about Tim Drake being queer coded. You always say that, but you never back it up. Where's this queer coding you're talking about for Tim Drake?
I think I have backed it up in videos before showing scans and everything else. But
Scans of what? Tumblr fanfic weirdos posting fake pictures.
okay, you know what? I'm gonna actually ask a question. Where does people think that Tumblr has any power? I don't
Nobody said
ever.
they had any power. I'm talking
No, but
about
that's
they
the
always
second
post
person to
fake
mention it this
pictures.
week. No, in the comic books, Tim was queer coded for a very long, not when he was written by Chuck Dixon. I will give you that. For a long time he was not. But he was absolutely queer coded when he was with Connell.
No, he wasn't.
He tried harder to save Connell than he ever did for Stephanie.
That doesn't make him queer. What are you talking
Yes,
about?
it does.
How did he try harder than for Stephanie? That doesn't even make any sense.
He tried everything he could to get Connell back.
Connor was already a clone. He's already a clone. He's just trying to get another clone back. Of course, he's gonna clone her. Stephanie's a real person that was born. Connor was a clone, so that's why he thought he could.
You would think you would go after the love of your life.
The Lazarus Pit. In the Lazarus Pit, he did try to bring his dad, Stephanie, and Connor back. All three of them with the Lazarus Pit. That's what you do with a normal human. You don't try to clone people that die that are like humans. Connor was a clone to begin with. So he thought he could bring him back through cloning. Like, that made sense to him logically. That makes more sense. Why would he clone?
And how long did he do it for?
99 times. It doesn't matter. It's like he's like a brother to him. They're not. He never had any attraction to him. There is no hint of them being attracted to each other. That doesn't make any sense. There's no queer.
I think that's all pretty.
He liked him like he loved him like a brother. It's called brotherly love, Tristan. It's not anything gay.
Like, well, there is. There
are people. When I used to watch Supernatural, there are literally people who thought the Winchesters were into incest and they're blood-related brothers. Those are the type of weird people that think Connor Kent and Tim Drake were into each other.
No, that's not true. I've never.
He never had any kind of attraction. There's nothing in the comic that mentioned anything about them being attracted to each other. It's just
no, of course not. That's why I said it was subjective.
Every single thing that has to do with his attraction has always been to women. Cassie, Stephanie.
Yeah.
Oh, that too. Why did if he was gay? Why would he kiss Cassie when he was upset over Connor dying? When she found him trying to clone him, he made out with her. That proves he's gay. He made out with Cassie. After that, when he was sad about Connor dying, not being able
to.
Right,
and queer coding is very, very subjective.
There's no. What is queer coding? You're just saying queer coding. Define queer coding.
Queer coding is when, you basically hint. It's a hinted at relationship.
He's not bi either,
like
Robert.
Harley.
I don't care. Gay, bi. He's not any of them.
Like Harley was meant to be bi with Ivy, but they couldn't do it because it was a kid's show.
Harley wasn't meant to be bi.
Yes, she was. Paul Dini literally said so.
Oh, okay. Then I didn't know.
Yes. I thought I'd bring this up for you. I thought you would enjoy it.
What?
Yeah, it's for you. I brought that up for you.
What's that's what, where did you get that from? Tumblr?
I don't know. I just Googled it.
They literally fake pictures. They had some fake picture.
Of course they are.
Tim wearing Connor's Superman.
Of course they are. Shirt. People ship all the time.
They fake
but
that.
Not all of it is.
But I saw people using that on Twitter as evidence when it was a fake picture. Like Tim wasn't wearing
Well, I've never done that. I've never put up fake pictures using it as evidence. I've put up real panels where I think they are queer coded, like when they literally had them in the closet together. But this was simply to laugh at you.
Yeah, okay. So I don't really care about Harley Quinn. I just assume she was never queer coded because it's a kid's cartoon. But you're the Harley Quinn fan, so I'll just take your word for that. But I'm saying Tim Drake wasn't queer coded. I'm pretty sure Paul Dini didn't queer code him either. You know, he was in the same show Harley was in, right?
Harley was in?
Yeah, he was in the same cartoon Harley Quinn was in. You know, it's called Batman, the animated series.
Yep.
Was Tim queer coded in that like Harley Quinn?
No, not in that. And I said it wasn't all the time.
Queer coding is when, let me tell you what queer coding is. North Star, that was queer coding because back then he couldn't outright.
Yes. Oh wait, I thought you didn't know what queer coding was though. Wait, you just said you had no idea what it was. You asked me to describe it.
I didn't say I want your definition. I didn't say what it was. I didn't say I didn't know. I'm saying you are supposed to define it because I want to know what you mean by that. But yeah, someone like North Star, you could say was queer coded because the author intended him to be gay but couldn't say it. Wolfman didn't intend Tim Drake to be gay. Chuck Dixon didn't. Not even Judd Wittig intended that. He was joking. It's a joke about them being in the closet. That would be like
because
saying
so many people saw them
Batman and Dick Grayson are into Nambla, like it's man boy love. Like people thought that about them. That doesn't mean they were pedo quoted or man boy love quoted or whatever. Dick Grayson wasn't molested by Batman because people interpreted that like there was no coding for that.
No, you mean in the like 40s and 50s? Are you talking about when the Comics Code Authority? Yeah, those were the religious right going fucking fanatical over some comic books for kids.
Yeah, but you're using the same logic that they were using with
No, I've said all along, I saw it as queer coding only in the last 10 years.
Just like those people thought Batman was a pedophile and was into man boy love with Dick Grayson, like you're saying the same stupid crap like them. There's none of that in there.
But I'm not trying to make. Oh, have you read this yet? This is really good. I'm not trying to do anything about it. I'm telling you my opinion. I'm not trying to do anything about it. Those people were going up against.
Is something intentional, so you have to say Wolfman, Dixon, or some writer for Tim Drake meant him to be gay. Nobody has said that. Absolutely none of them has said that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have.
Who?
I'm going to look it up right now.
Judd Wittig's stupid joke about them being in the closet is not anything that proves that they were meant to be gay. He was making a stupid joke. That's all it is. Haha, they're in the closet.
Right, but it's still a joke about him being queer. Both of them.
Emphasis on joke, Tristan. That's not actually queer coding. What would be the point of that was in the 2000s. What would be the point of queer coding when you had gay characters already out? Constantine from the 90s was already mentioned to be bisexual. They wouldn't need to code anything into it. They would just outright say it. It's not like it was back in the 60s or anything. So that makes no sense for it to be coded. They would just outright.
They actually didn't have a whole lot of queer characters until the 2000s. What are you talking about?
So when did this?
They barely hinted at Constantine being queer until the 2000s. No. They had one hint.
No, they didn't. That was in the 90s, Tristan. That was very early.
Right. That one hint was in the 90s.
Yeah.
That one hint was in the 90s.
It's not a hint. It's outright saying it. Like, he said he had girlfriends and boyfriends. That's not a hint. That's just outright saying it.
That one time, right?
Yes, Tristan, and that was the 90s. So how would anybody queer code?
Did he ever have a boyfriend in the 90s?
That's not the point, Tristan. The point is there's no need for queer coding.
Why would they not allowed? Very rarely was it allowed.
Nobody was queer coding anything in the 2000s. The queer coding was with characters like Extraño. Like he's obviously gay, but they just didn't outright say it. But he was very stereotypical and obviously gay, right?
Right, but they made sure they gave him AIDS.
Huh?
They did a whole storyline with him having AIDS. People knew.
But they still didn't outright say it or show any love interest for him. Like they didn't show any of that. My point is, in those times, they couldn't just outright say it. in the 2000s, there's literally no reason to do that. The time the comics you're talking about with Connor and Tim happened at a time where they could have openly just said they're gay. There's no reason to say they're queer coded in the 2000s. So that argument makes no sense. Queer coding is for way back before during the comic
Wait, you're
code.
telling me they still don't queer code people?
No, who do they queer code now? Everybody's just bringing it out in the closet and virtue signaling about it. Who's queer coded now? Tell me any
Virtue
reason.
signaling.
Who
I
is queer
mean, I
coded
guess
now?
I guess you're kind of
Or in
right.
the
They
last 20
do.
years? Nobody's queer coded. They just outright say it. Were
Yeah, I
Midnighter and
guess you're
Apollo
kind of
queer
right. That's
coded?
a Ghostmaker, but I think he's came
Ghostmaker.
out.
Ghostmaker, they have articles announcing that he's gay or bi or whatever. What do you mean queer coded?
Ooh,
Hmm?
ooh.
What do you
Who
mean
has
who? I'm not
articles?
giving them, I'm not calling their name. Not
I
giving them
don't
any
care.
free promotion. You know those people that with the websites that
Then
talk about
do
comics?
they exist? Are you talking about Bleeding Cool or Bleeding Fool or some of
Stop
those?
promoting them. Stop promoting them.
Oh, come on. Everyone
They're
knows
not
that they
paying me.
exist.
They're not paying you. Don't call their name.
I will say, after reading, okay, so you know they did that Tim Drake special?
What? Something?
Yes.
I read something about it. Vaguely.
Uh, wait, you just came in to argue with me about Tim Drake, but you don't know what's okay. It was terrible.
No, I heard something about it. I watched some video about it. Like, I don't really know. I don't remember much details, but yeah. I know what you mean. Like, they had some, because it was Pride Month or whatever. Mhm.
I know, and I can't find it. That they came out and said that they meant he was gay, but I can't find. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they
They're
did.
definitely wrong. The other thing is,
Wouldn't be a
why
first
aren't they
time.
using, if that was even the case, why haven't they connected those storylines? And they haven't. When in Urban Legends he talked to Connor, he never confessed anything to him, right? Who did he go to? Bernard. So that just proves that that thing about Connor and Tim is nonsense, because he
Oh,
would
they're
have just
together right
confessed
now.
his love to Connor. What?
Right, but the new special has them pinned together, going after the Almighty Endowed, I believe it was the girl with big old bitties. I forget her name. The Mighty Endowed, and I think,
I have no idea
and
what
I
you're
told
talking
people
about.
this on my thing on Tuesday. I am pretty sure the next two characters to come out are Connell and Babs.
I mean, that would be like, let me see. What's that? What are you? What did you call yourself? Like when you used to predict the future. Did any of your predictions ever come true?
Uh, Very unlikely.
Oh, I think it was Nerdstradamus or something.
Um, I don't
When you
know.
did the fake videos where you predicted the future of DC or something.
Oh, um, I haven't done that in forever. That's a good idea. I haven't done one of those satirical videos. Um, I think a lot of them did come true.
No, they didn't. Tristan.
Yes, they did. I said they were going to make Aquaman gay. I just said the wrong one, and he was
What?
already gay.
Okay, that doesn't even make sense. But my
Gary
point
said,
is,
please just kill Harley off. Gary, we've had this conversation.
who's Gary?
He's a subscriber. And awesome. They're not killing Harley off, nor will they ever, because she's fucking awesome.
Speaking of, yeah, about Harley, tell me about Paul Dini. What did he say? He intended her to be gay in the 90s in a kid's cartoon show. Him
Yeah,
and Tim
during
Bruce are
the
sus.
when his introduction.
Yeah, him and Tim Bruce are sus. And then Tim Bruce had Batman paired up with a teenage girl, Batgirl. Yeah, I don't trust those guys. They're creepy.
You don't like Paul Dini
No,
and
Paul
Bruce
Dini
Timm?
I was fine with until I found out about that with Harley. But Bruce Timm was always, isn't he the one behind that weird relationship with Batman and Batgirl? That was always creepy to me.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
was fucking weird. And the Killing Joke, that
I
was
think
terrible.
he's trying to live out some kind of fantasy with that. I don't think.
Okay, so I finally found the year. Do you really think that in 2003 they had a bunch of queer characters running around?
Not that they had a bunch, but they wouldn't have a problem just outright saying that they're
Okay,
queer. There was
besides
nothing stopping
Constantine,
them.
name one.
There wasn't any freaking Comics Code authority stopping them from doing
Doesn't
that
matter.
anyway.
Doesn't matter. It's not about the Comics Code Authority. It's about capitalism. So besides Constantine, name one.
I don't keep up with. I never cared about that when I was reading
Exactly.
comics.
That's because
I
that's why
don't
you
keep up
queer
with who's
coded.
gay and who's not. I just knew North Star and I
North
don't
Star
know
is not
yet.
DC.
I know he's not DC. I'm just telling you like as much gay characters. I was more into Marvel anyway, but you had like North Star, you had Wanda's sons or whatever.
Hulkling and Wiccan. Oh, they
Yeah.
just had a new book come out. I just bought it, but I haven't read it yet.
My point is there was nothing that would stop them from just outright.
Yes, there was.
What?
Capitalism. Look at how gay characters are treated right now. Look at all the people going fucking insane because there was a literally less than 1 second kiss in Buzz Lightyear. Literally less than 1 second. Think about it
They weren't
20 years
flooding
ago.
they weren't flooding the comics with gay characters in those
Yes,
times.
they were.
What? Why are you disagreeing with me? I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying they were not flooding the comics with gay characters back then in the early 2000s.
I thought you said they were.
No, they were not.
They
But
would not put gay characters, very rarely.
they
Even when they put
weren't banned from
Constantine
doing
in,
it,
it was
though.
in a
That's what.
hetero
But my
relationship.
point is, there was no comics code authority to stop them from doing that. They could have freely done that.
Well, they wanted they
Hence why
think
you had
about
North
how
Star
gay
come out in
people
the
were treated
90s.
in
So it was the early
2003.
2000s. What?
Think about how gay people were treated in 2003. Honestly. No, capitalism isn't over, but it's more accepted now, Shane.
It has nothing to do with in the comics, though. They still could have gay characters in the comics. I'm not somebody that like keeps tally on that. Like, I'm not gonna count how many. I'm sure there were some.
But you can't name one.
What do you mean I can't name one? I already said North Star. What more do you want?
That's not DC. You can't name one besides Constantine, who was in always hetero relationships.
You had let me see. Wasn't Midnighter and Apollo, weren't they already?
Those were Wildstorm characters.
Yeah, DC bought them, so what? They were still.
I don't believe that early. Hold on, I'll look it up.
But the point is, they're still comic book characters, so there was no ban on having gay comic book characters. DC didn't have some ban.
Ooh, you trumped me there. 1999. Very good.
Yeah, they had them. My point is, they didn't need to queer code them because if they just wanted them to be gay, they would just write that storyline. Nobody was queer coding Tim and Connor like that. Makes no sense.
Oh, no, you didn't. Midnighter didn't have a solo series until gay marriage was legal.
Okay. That still doesn't prove anything about Connor.
Ooh, good point. Chuck, Obsidian. Obsidian was one character. That's a good point. Obsidian is awesome. You're absolutely right. But yes, it was very rare when they were allowed to have that representation. So there was coding. Whether or not you picked up on it, that's fine.
I'm not saying there was no coding. I told you Extraño was coding, right? That was coding. North Star, because Shooter wouldn't allow that to be like outright said in the comic.
Right.
When he was created. So yeah, there was coding, but in the 2000s with Tim and Connor, that's not coding, and they wouldn't just code it. They would just make it. They would build a story right up into that. Why would they just drop that? There is nothing. Prove to me that any writer that was writing any of those stories wanted them to come out the closet literally, not as a dumb joke, but literally was writing a story for them to actually be gay.
Hold on, let me get this super chat real quick. Hold on. Super chat. Comics Code everywhere community. Thank you so much. Said no advertising pinups and the unmodest staffers called Wonder Woman a pinup. And they actually had to, they weren't allowed to say the word horror. They weren't allowed to do so much after the Comics Code Authority. I think it's very ironic when people wear, thank you so much, Everywhere community. I think it's very, what's it called? It's very ironic when people wear the Comics Code, Authority shirts. It's like,
Oh, bring it back.
yeah, why?
No, but if you bring it back now, then all the SJWs are just gonna write the code, and then
That's a nonsensical word, right?
No,
what's an SJW? Can you explain it to me?
Warrior.
What's that mean? By social justice, you mean advocating
the weirdos
for
on Twitter with pronouns in their bio. That's the definition.
You know what? You know what's weird? Hold on.
The weirdos
I have pronouns
Twitter,
in my bio on TikTok. Am I some SJW weirdo?
Maybe. I guess you are now.
You literally, I think, have to. I think you have to, but regardless.
Oh, okay. You know what SJWs are. I don't need to define it. The people.
SJW has become anybody that disagrees with me.
No,
prove me
not.
wrong.
No,
and woke has become anything that has a gay character or a black person in it.
The same people that always talk like robots, NPC, and they always talk the same way about the same leftist nonsense. And you know exactly what I mean because you used to be against them too. So don't pretend like you don't know what they are.
No, I know exactly what you mean. But I also think that everybody has a right to their opinion. I don't think
Tom Taylor's an SJW. You want me to just specifically name people?
Are you serious?
People
are you serious?
Are you not
come
serious?
On, Leo. You haven't gone this far, have you?
You don't read comics like he does if you're not an SJW, okay? So don't try to tell me.
What book has he wrote that's SJW? Please enlighten me.
Are you joking?
No, I'm not joking a little bit. What is SJW about what he writes?
Son of Kal-El.
Oh, because he writes a gay character? You just fucking proved my point.
I thought he was bisexual. He's gay now? Oh, okay. I guess he proved my point months ago when I said that's what he was, and he tried to say he's bisexual. I told you
he is gay. Bisexual.
Regardless.
No,
I never said
you just said somebody that writes a queer character is an SJW.
No, I didn't say that. You just said that.
So then tell me, what about writing Son of Kal-El makes him an SJW?
Literally everything.
What? You're not saying anything. Have you even read it?
I don't need to.
Exactly. Thank you for proving my fucking point.
If I can just watch
view this nonsense without even. You guys take.
Read it, Tristan,
so you let somebody else make up your goddamn mind?
No, nobody makes my mind up.
Yes, you did. You just said I watch videos.
And based on what's in the book, okay, so anything that I watch in the video, in those videos, are they a lie or are they the truth?
Depends. If you watch Yellow Flash, he literally said that the villain was fake news.
Wear a cape with a rainbow flag on.
You literally, I'm gonna mute you because you're talking over me. You literally, yes, some of them report fake bullshit. The one issue you're talking about was pride issue. Now, I'm going to unmute you because you just proved my point.
Proved what point?
What?
I'm still muted.
No, you're not muted. That was a pride comic. Did you not hear all of that while I muted you?
That was only one example I was using. It's always been that way from all the other crap with
Leo.
Protesting.
No.
Why would Superman be holding up be protesting?
That was not even a Son of Kal-El comic. You're literally showing everybody that you have no idea what you're talking about.
What do you mean that wasn't a Son of Kal-El comic?
That was not a Son of a Kal-El comic. That issue with the pride issue. That was not in Son of Kal-El.
What are you talking about?
You talked about the cape.
He was given the cape in a Son of Kal-El comic.
No, he was not. No, he was not. Again, you're getting this from videos.
What comic was he given the gay
pride?
Okay. So you're telling me the comic where he gave him the actual cape was not a Son of Kal-El comic?
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure I watched some video where they said that, but okay.
Yeah, exactly. You're
If you
taking
say
these
so.
people's words and you're not actually reading the book. So you say
No, I'm
Tom
not reading the
Taylor's an
book. Why would I read?
SJW writer,
Because
but you
because
can't give
of
me a good reason why.
I already gave you a good reason why.
Because
He
he's gay?
No, I didn't say that. You're the
Then
one that keeps
what?
saying that.
Then
Because of
what?
all the
Give me a good
social justice
reason.
nonsense he has in the comic. Look at all the
What
crap he
social
said.
justice nonsense? Name one thing.
The thing with the like he was doing some allusion to immigration thing with the people from that place that comes from
From
Wildstone.
Gamora?
Yeah, that place.
You mean helping people that were lost on a boat is social
Yeah, he
justice?
was obviously making some allusion to immigration.
No,
The
he was
immigration.
not. Have you read the issue?
No, I don't read crap like that. Why would I read it? I don't
Exactly.
need to read it. What? But
Because
you're
you
not
don't know
saying
what
that.
you're talking
What
about.
do you mean? I don't know what I said happened in the comic though. You can't even say that didn't happen. You even finished my sentence for me.
He literally prevented a boat full of people from dying. How is that social?
You're just
Sure,
talking
it's
about
social
that
justice.
part,
It's
but he
helping
was
people.
against. He
You
was.
just assumed you knew what you were talking about.
What do you mean? I just assumed what I'm
Because
talking
you're
about.
wrong.
How am I wrong? What am I wrong with?
Because that didn't happen.
What didn't
He
happen?
helped people that were on a boat from dying, like any other comic book that has action in it.
Yeah, sure. So anyway, Tom Taylor is perfectly what I mean by a social justice warrior because.
Yeah, you can't name one reason why.
Okay, I'll name when you stop interrupting me. When he goes on those interviews and talks about the reason why he writes his comics, all those reasons he lists are literally social justice warrior talking.
Like what?
Oh my god. I don't want to keep Tom Taylor's rubbish in my head, but I know what I'm talking about. I'm not gonna memorize.
No, you
what
don't,
he
because
said.
you can't name
Go
a
watch
damn
his
thing.
interview. I don't need to name it because I don't want to
Yes,
keep
you
his
do.
garbage in
In
my
order
head.
to make your point,
Go
you
watch
need to
his go
name a
watch his
thing.
interviews and listen to how he talks. Then that is a social justice warrior. Anyone that talks like him,
Okay.
that's a
Okay.
definite.
You have no idea what you're talking about. Have you
I
been
do know what
drinking?
I'm talking about. I do know
Have you
what
been
I'm talking about.
drinking?
Yeah, I've been drinking water.
No, but you can't name a fucking thing. You just hear a bunch of people call him a social justice warrior.
No, I don't
And
hear. I hear his
you
own
literally said you
interview
hear it from
with my
fucking
own.
videos.
No, I'm talking about the garbage he writes in his comic. But his interview, I hear him
But
from
you
my
can't
own
name one
self.
fucking thing.
What do you mean I can't name anything? Every single thing he says makes him a SJW.
Name
what are
one
you
thing.
talking about?
Name
I do
one
not
thing.
care. Go read his
See,
go read
exactly.
his interview or watch his interview and find out for yourself. When he's on the TV promoting the book about Superboy coming out or whatever, the way how he talks there, that's what a SJW is. Okay, that is all I need.
Yeah,
to
you
say.
can't name one thing. Okay, Leo,
What do you mean
I
I can't
respect
name
you,
one?
but you have no idea what you're talking about. I'm going to bring on Teva. I will talk to you later. Bye. Teva.
Yep. Well, that conversation went at the extreme nuts.
I like Leo, but he just listens to videos and regurgitates what they say. I know you actually read this stuff. Climate change. Where is he battling climate change? I love all this fake bullshit going around.
Yeah, I think they'll find you that cover with Son of Carol book might be when I showed the cover Climate Change and Earth 2 and that
That had
nonsense.
to do with yeah. You're absolutely right. That had to do with the school strike in Australia. That's why they did that. That wasn't even a Tom Taylor thing.
Yeah, which my main problem with the story, you know my thoughts on that train wreck. I think we could one. I still made a mistake. I know what to go. There's a
What just happened?
sorry.
Okay, that's okay. What's your disagreement?
Yeah. My disagreement didn't want to do it as a situation, but that time I made it a complete minefield. And the more I hear about it, the more angry the way I get. But what the fuck is he doing? It makes no sense. It's something gonna be what the fuck.
Let me ask you a question. What'd you think about Son of Kal-El 12? I think that came out last week, right?
I think so.
With Crypto, it was so good.
I find my opinion. I forget what I gave it after my being one give my review, but okay, the Crystal Storm is fine. It's just my main problem with the scene like I'm gonna be at because I'm so tired of this character. Like this kid, I hope.
Ava, slow down for me.
All right, sorry. Oh,
No, you're totally fine.
Yeah. And yeah. Seneca I've animated before. Issue 12. I don't remember what I gave in my opinion. I didn't like it, but you know my bond sharing and I still hate Jen Gamera. He's no hero. It's just Johnny crazy that John actually thinks this guy be trusted. He can't be trusted. He's manipulating his mind. And
I know, and I think you're right. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about Jay half the time. Sometimes I'm like, oh, that's cute. And sometimes I'm like, what's going on with you, bro? Like,
yeah.
It's very weird. But you know what? I actually, all the shit I just gave Leo, I know you've read the books. I know you do
Yeah.
this. So if you are sitting here criticizing it, that's awesome. That just means you want better for it.
Indeed. Yeah. Also, I mean, for what Dear John came like the novel, and since then, like, I get my wit. Well, okay. There's one small chance this may happen. Maybe. Dark Crisis is my last hope, and put that Batman Superman movie, which I did make a video about that anime movie.
Oh, yeah.
I made 2 videos. One in regards to the release date, which I'm very happy about. If the release date is true, because it's from French, so take it with a grain of salt. So that could be my last chance. If that succeeds and Dark Crisis, maybe as a DM normal, I'll be happy.
Oh, that would be wonderful. I know you miss your Super Sons.
I do. Every day. Like, not fair.
Super Sons was I feel like they missed a good opportunity to tell some great stories of those two growing up together. I really do.
They did. And I still maintain, we still have Superman back. Because, come on, dude, you're Superman right there. People love Superman. I bought the Superman, for God's sake. I want every single Superman back. I didn't buy the omnibus, which I showed you before. And I love that team. It's my favorite team. And just like crazy, still under the damage. Like, look, the best thing I remember that is enough for me. That becoming one more time, it was forced, not organic. And because we never get to see my boy grow up. But at this point, I complained about that actually for months. Well, actually, went there. How many years? 3 years, I think, if I do my math is correct, because you got Bendis.
When Bendis, yep.
Yeah, so
Bendis killed that character. I not killed it.
Yeah.
Bendis killed it. I think Tom Taylor's doing his best he can to resurrect it. I really think John shines when he works with Nightwing. I really like that dynamic. And in Dark Crisis #1, I believe it was, we saw that, Nightwing kind of being more like, they're not dead. Like, kind of, and John was like, no, I really like that.
It wasn't #1. I think it was Road to Dark Crisis.
Oh, Road to Dark Crisis. You're right.
Yeah.
But I like that dynamic. I think they work really well off each other.
I agree. That dynamic was cute, my man. That dynamic. Granted, it's still an infuriating that we never got to see this grow up naturally. It's just like crazy because every time they show Young John Kent every single time, every image that you read from Con. It's like, what? You have Young John Kent and World Finance cover. You have Young John Kent and that means flashback. But you won't pull the trigger. It's like normal in the main story.
I get it.
But
I get it. I do, and I really did like the flashbacks that they put in.
Nightwing.
I don't remember what it was. They put one in Nightwing, and then they put one in Son of Kal-El when they flashback with Dick and with Young John, and he was, lost. I thought that was really great.
Right, that was cute. I'm really happy.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Now going to reverse that Dear John Nightwing with Dark Quaid. Why not? Like, what the hell?
I know. It just, you gotta come to terms with it, and I know it sucks, but maybe we'll get another youngling that's cute.
Except there is no youngling like John. He was my last chance.
I know, that's true. You know what, though? We've got Irie and, oh my god, what's his name?
Irie and Jai.
Jai. Though, that's a great dynamic also, and I love that they brought in Animal Man's daughter.
Yes.
Jeremy Adams is doing such a great job.
Yeah, it's so good. Like, I love Jeremy Adams. Jeremy Adams was one of the best books I think come out of DC. In fact, That book is actually my successor to Superman Family. Even though I was Superman Family, the first of my business, Superman is doing X-Men with Wally West, and it drives me crazy that book that's selling well. What the hell, people? Buy The Flash! It's one of the books on DC that's way better than that all with the Young Justice book, which, speaking of Young Justice book, I read that Dark Justice book. It was bad. Like, what? Like, not to get like, many jerks. Like, why? Like, I don't get that logic. Like, and not the same
I
way
know.
to go with the 10th grade Robin book.
I think they're trying
Great.
to bring in Jai and Irie and make them that cutesy dynamic. And I think Jeremy
Yep.
Adams needs a lot more credit because every
Yep.
single time I pick up The Flash, it's amazing. Every time.
Same. Indeed.
It's the first I read each week because it's like I know I'm gonna enjoy this.
Yep. Same here. I read the Flash book every single time, and it's one book that came out DC period. I do try to review every issue best I can. Granted, my book I do have to review the Flash because I got the Flash, my favorite DC book coming out this year. But that's how my book came out. But oh yeah, speaking of book that came out, World Finance came out. That book is so great.
It is so.
Holy
I
shit.
love Dan
So,
Moore's
the
art.
fusion between Batman and Superman. That was insane. But
That
awesome.
fusion is so good. If anybody's a collector, it definitely is a key. But they're
Yeah.
doing that Devil Neza stuff, and
Yes.
it seems like they're crossing it over, even maybe with Connor Hawk and that storyline. I can't wait. That
Yeah.
fusion was so cool, and I love
Mhm.
seeing the Doom Patrol.
Same. I do Patrol too. Yeah, there are Super Pets comics soon in kids section in the comic store, and a Super Pet cartoon at least when Super Pet ratings seem to go. That's what I did with Shazam. Wait, what? Oh
I know.
yeah, I forgot. We're gonna
Yeah.
it's fun comments.
All right, I am going to bring in the next person, Taba, but thank you for stop.
Oh,
you
wait,
got something else? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I never did a disagreement with Ezra Miller stuff.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry, that's okay. Yeah, I put the other message in my opinion. Yes, I mean, my disagreement with that situation is that something up with Ezra Miller. As I said, the guy is a mental pretty unstable, and that situation is a clusterfuck. Whatever. I did my research on this shit, and yeah, all this algorithm I mean, these seem kind of legit. Granted, for one, they're gonna be bullshit, but we don't know it's true or not. It's in a weird mess, and with all the Hawaii shit that happened, and all the other shit that's happening right now, yeah, I think it's safe to assume that this situation is not gonna be have to go either. My best guess that two have to go with it. A go into a mental institution, which I think that's good for him. Or ultimately, it's jail, but I think the kind of jail just points toward the grooming situation, which I don't know if that's true. If the grooming situation is legit, fuck, that's even much worse and messed up. So my disagreement about the situation, my opinion, I think it's a clusterfuck, and
Yeah.
when people agree with me, disagree with me, I think the guy needs to get help immediately and stop
I
making things
also
much worse.
think you have a little bit of more hate for him because of your love for John. I think there's definitely something up with him. He's definitely shady, but I also think you tend to hate him more because you want John Young again, and I understand that. So I think we're just going to have to, and I get it. We don't really have a disagreement. I just think I'm a little bit more willing to wait it out a bit.
Yeah. With the administration.
Ezra Miller?
Yeah,
Oh, I thought you were talking about Jay.
No. The J stuff. I mean, I've been talking about that. That thing would infuriate me, but I'm trying to as a administrator. That's the thing. That's my disagreement. I maybe I should clarify what I mean by that.
No, I'm sorry. With Ezra, it looks like a lot of it was set up by his current woman's, and there's a video if you get a chance to watch from Saggy Melons explaining everything. It seems like his woman, so to speak, like the lady that he's dating, was her ex was perpetrating a lot of this. And a lot of these allegations were in fact false. So
So the grooming stuff that could be bullshit.
no, yeah, that's bullshit.
Okay.
So I just hope they get the help they need and they quit messing around with like in the one body cam thing, he said, I
Yeah.
was assaulted. And it comes to find out that it basically was this ex-boyfriend that beat the fuck out of his lady and Ezra saved her. So
So
it's a whole
him
messed
throwing a
up
chair at that
situation.
person. So him throwing a chair at that person was self-defense. It wasn't being
We don't know exactly, but I'm because of the Johnny Depp situation, I am willing to wait and see because we know false allegations can really hurt a person.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that made concern. As I said, my disagreement with the situation, that was another topic on it, but here's the thing. I don't know if it's true, if it's not. It's an old story, I mean, again, confusing in my opinion, and we all know he got fired from the Flash, so that
Right.
part is pretty gone, which, okay, fine. I'm fine with that because what for years, that situation is a nut mess, but as far as that is concerned, the two options to go with this. They released the movie anyway, which we don't know if that's true or not. They'll release the movie at this point. Or B, they pulled the plug and fuck it. This movie, it's not gonna be the watcho, so we can
Nah,
let
it'll get
go.
released. It'll get released.
Yeah, like I
It
just
definitely will.
yeah. As far as that concerned, we'll see. But after Ezra, I don't know what's going on with that situation. It's a mess, and
Yep.
it's a clusterfuck. Like
Yes, it
part of
is.
me wants to believe he's innocent. But another time he's saying, no, this not all obviously a criminal, it's all with the guy, it's unstable. So I think he just needs help. That's all I think. Now, it's
Yeah.
alleging all bullshit and they're all trying to be false. I will admit I was wrong. And I'm
Yep.
hoping you all
I've done the same. Yep. All
yeah.
right, Tavia, I will bring on Joe Bustify, but thank you so much for stopping by. It's always nice talking to you.
Anytime. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Tava is awesome. Joe Bustify. Hello.
Me?
Yes,
This is weird.
you?
So this is what the internet looks like. Cool.
It's a scary, scary place. What's your disagreement?
I
I think you have
plug my
probably a
YouTube
few.
channel first.
What?
Can I plug my YouTube channel?
Sure.
It's called America's Test Kitchen. We do recipes and reviews. It's really cool. Go on and check it out. So now Roe v. Wade. I don't know if I want to argue, but I'd like to understand maybe your position more, if that makes sense. And then we'll inevitably start arguing.
I think a lot of people have a misconception on my position. My position comes from the point of I'm very much so pro-life when it comes to morally myself, but as a policy, we can't let others control. We cannot ever give up agency. And giving up agency of, a person's body, their likelihood to choose or not choose is the first step in a really bad situation. And we see that. Look, this in the same day this news dropped, you had Clarence Thomas saying he's going to go after birth control and gay marriage. None of this is okay. You cannot, you can't think it's okay. Like,
did he? I haven't been following. I don't know if he said that, but I
yes,
don't
he did.
see where he would find
and sodomy, oddly enough.
Oh, well, I don't see where he would find the constitutional backing to create some kind of national law against contraception.
Mike Pence even came across and said he wanted to do an abortion ban.
But he did it, right? He can't. It's a state issue.
If they win the midterms, that's what they said they're going to try.
Oh, so then they would have to create a new amendment, which would need, 2/3 of the Senate or something. As you can tell, English is a second language, so I'm not really sure how the American government works.
It works by whoever has the most money. It's supposed to be in the eyes of the voters, but whoever's in power gerrymanders as much as they possibly can, and it goes over and over and over.
Okay, so it's the usual government kind of thing.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. So here's what I was thinking. It doesn't seem to me to be any kind of draconian rule, or instead of a big federal pushdown, it seems like they're giving states the choice to do what they want.
You realize when they send it to the states that there are 26 states already willing to ban it. 9 immediately almost. Sending it to the state, having little individual governments decide your agency of your body isn't a good thing. The last time states had this kind of power was Jim Crow. And you know what this shit leads to. This is going to lead to an uproar. Look at all of the riots.
Well, I don't know, an uproar is kind of a side issue. That's not, I guess,
I get that.
But the states are, the people in those states are deciding what they want. So
are they?
Well, by electing their representative that on whatever platform it is votes accordingly. So if people in that state don't like the idea of unrestricted abortions up to 9 months and a day with the foot sticking out or something.
Do you know that less than 1% have abortions after 21 weeks? So that's not a good way to put it. Like, people will lie to you and tell you that that's not how it is. People,
I'm saying
a lot of times use the rape and all of that. That's less than 1%, and it's less than 1%, or it's like 6%, but it's less than 1% that have late-term abortions. It's very, very rare.
So then it doesn't seem like there's going to be that much change really by implementing a time, cutoff.
It's not just a time cutoff. You know that, right?
Well, it could be. They haven't set their laws yet.
It could be. But the fact that it is even happening is pretty fucked up. Let me get this super chat real quick, Joe Bustify. Gary, thank you so much. I'm not bothered what you say about Ezra and the script is crap. They connect multiverse with time travel like the MCU, but that's not how it works, and they apparently killed Cavill off. It's Grace Randolph that said that. Wait and see. That's all I can say. It's not that I think she's right about 60% of the time, but not all the time. So, I hope Cavill gets his day to shine. I want a good Superman story. I think we all do. Thank you so much, Gary. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I too like Cavill. I'm trying to get popular opinion on my side.
Okay, go ahead and tell me what you were going to say.
I think that from my interpretation of the Constitution, there is no right to an abortion. That's not a guaranteed right that has been taken away. So now it comes down to a discussion or a debate or a long process of lawmaking to determine what is right and what is just. And
the right to privacy is what they use.
Right. I didn't see that as justification for unrestricted abortions because
not
you have
unrestricted.
A right to privacy
in no state is it unrestricted. Do you realize that it's only going to spike? This was the first year it actually went down in 30 years. This will cause women to go to back alley abortionists. This will cause more pain than it actually justifies.
Well, it doesn't sound like they'll be going to the back alleys because less than 1% of them are after late-term abortions. So if those are stopped, it's not really a change.
Okay, but what about the ones that want to do it before 9 weeks and their state doesn't allow them and they can't afford to go to a different state?
Well, I'm sure if need be, they can afford a bus ticket to another state.
Oh,
I don't
come
really see
on.
that's a big option.
That's not how the world works. Not everybody can afford these kind of things.
Well, then, I mean, at some point you have to take responsibility for your actions. So we'll throw
Right,
out
and
the
that's what they're
1%.
trying to do. That's what they're trying to do.
I don't see how terminating the pregnancy is responsibility for your actions. You engaged in likely unprotected sex that would produce a child, and then you say,
So
well,
it's
I
like,
can't afford
so
this,
your
so I must
opinion
end it.
is you had sex, deal with it?
No, my opinion would be there's nothing I see objectionable to putting a time limit under whatever means possible. I wouldn't say, complete banning, but I don't think that would be the case in most states. And then just responding to your idea of, well, it can't go to the bus. I mean, if your situation is so incredibly dire that you can't afford, I don't know, condoms and pulling out and a bus ticket.
You know condoms aren't 100% effective, right?
No, but you combine condoms with pulling out and i.e. what are IUDs, birth control pills, diaphragms,
They're trying to
sponges.
take away birth control.
Well, that hasn't happened yet, and if they do, that's a different argument, I would say. But I mean, there are pretty significant methods to preventing pregnancy.
Sure.
It's really
And none of them are 100%.
no, but I wouldn't be 100% in favor of banning abortion either. So we're getting
Okay,
to
well then we don't have an
various
argument.
extremes.
Because
Well,
neither one of us are okay with the extremes. I'm not okay with late-term abortion, but I'm also not okay with not having the right to choose about. So let me ask you a question. Where are you on the vax mandates? Are you okay with them mandating it?
not particularly. I had to get
Then
it
you
due to work.
shouldn't be okay with them mandating no abortions. Do you see how that's kind of a double thing here?
I don't see it because one is an injection, a vaccine, a medical treatment for me, and the other one is a life of a separate human being.
At what point do you think that it becomes a life?
Well, that's going to be semantics.
That's more philosophical, but
Right. So I think we can find pretty common ground that it's a life. Like you said, you don't like extremes either, so we'll have it later. But I think a life, if you just have semantics and you boil it down, I would backtrack it to conception. But that's not, I think, going to be the rule.
That's literally a conception is extremes. You just said you didn't like extremes.
I said that was my opinion of life. I didn't say I would legislate accordingly if given ultimate power.
So we can agree that if you, not your own personal opinion, but if you're talking about semantics for the government, life, in my opinion, would be consciousness or sentient, something along that lines, where you have the ability to live. At conception, it is microscopic. At 12, 13, 14 weeks, it's the size of a pin. Well, it's a little bit bigger than a pin. It just depends on the mother. This idea that is a life is all determined upon who's speaking. So I think the ability to live outside of the womb, after that, the idea of abortion should be cut off. If you don't know by 5-6 months of pregnancy that you want an abortion, it's too late. I am not okay with late-term abortion, but I'm also not okay with the idea that you don't have a choice no matter what. Like, there are, I believe it's Ohio, I can't remember exactly, but they're advocating for, doesn't matter if you're raped, doesn't matter if it's incest, doesn't matter if your life is in danger, ban.
Someone's advocating, but nothing's changed. That's
The
not
bill
a
has
law.
been introduced.
Okay, is it going to pass? You
I
can
don't
deal
know.
with it then. But either way, I don't see the 14th Amendment as justification for the federal government stopping states.
Then you should
from
be okay
voting
with
accordingly.
mandates. I'm sorry. That's extremely hypocritical.
I don't
If
see
you're
how,
not okay,
because mandates are for vaccines.
if
and
you're
this is
are
a
you
separate
pro
human
death
life.
penalty?
No.
You're not pro death penalty? Okay. Well, that's rare. Conservatives usually are.
I don't know if I'm conservative. I'm very much all over the place. But
Fair enough. I'm the
no,
same
I don't
when it
think.
comes to
I
that.
don't think. I think it's terrible that the government can decide to kill
At least
someone.
I'll give you the credit there. You're consistent there. Zaggy said just don't have sex with guys. I mean,
Well, I know that's
those
what a lot
kind
of
of
people
things are
try to
easy to
simplify it
say.
to, but that's not the point. I mean,
Right. It's going
know.
to happen. Kids, not necessarily like kids, but I'm talking teenagers, are have hormones running through them. They're going to have sex. I'm sorry. They're going to. Not all, obviously, but I'm saying, and they're dumb. Kids are dumb. And they're going to have accidents. It should be up to them. And it is. It
to
is
a point, which I think we agree on. And to take it back further, I'm just saying, I don't think Roe v. Wade was constitutionally sound to
how?
have it.
Because of because it was based off privacy?
Well, yeah, it's just a privacy law, and it's privacy for a contract if it's a legal contract, and I don't think that.
But getting surgery
terminating
or having
abortion
medication, you do have to sign legal contracts. You have to sign, at least in America, you have to sign HIPAA, which is a legal contract. That is a privacy act. It is all based on privacy.
No, I know, but I'm saying I don't think you can't make a contract to do something illegal, and I don't think that killing life, like we've all said, at late term can live outside the room. I don't think that's legal. I think that's just infanticide the longer you wait. So therefore,
and I don't disagree with that.
So I don't see it as a valid privacy issue because it's a privacy for an illegal act. Therefore, it's not a real contract.
And I agree with that after viability. I will agree to that after viability. But if you are early on in your pregnancy, many of the early I actually have it's like most of the abortions actually happen before in the first trimester, and many of them are not a surgical procedure. People forget that there's plan B for like a day after pill.
Yeah, there's plan B.
And there's also
there's lots of things.
Well, there's also a 2-step pill when you're like around the 9-week period. There are other ways than just going in there and when you think of abortion, you think of the worst thing possible. Let's be real. We all go there in our brain. But it's not always that way. And most of the abortions happen within the first trimester. Before that baby, before that fetus, before that zygote or embryo is even the size of a golf ball, nobody tends to think what we need more of is counseling for the mother afterwards. Is if they are doing this because they're a child or they don't have enough money, ways to prevent this later on in life.
Right.
Family planning.
I'm not arguing with any of that. I'm just saying that the 14th Amendment doesn't make any of these specifications. So you can say, oh, it's been 2 days of pregnancy. It's not a life. It doesn't make it. It's open. It's left completely unrestricted, and that's not just. That's not constitutionally valid. And
I
Roe
think
v.
I think
Wade
it is.
doesn't
I
work.
know what you're saying, but I think the right to privacy is a HIPAA thing. Therefore, this is covered underneath it. You have the right to privacy. It's a doctor-patient confidentiality. We all sign it. That is privacy. There we go. And I know Shane said even in Roe v. Wade, it's limited to the first trimester. I think I would actually be okay with that. Like, I feel like that's, and I know a lot of people want this weird, unregulated, being able to use it as birth control. Don't get me wrong. I am 100% against using it for birth control. But what do they do? A 3 strikes and you're out program? I don't know the answers. I'm not exactly the most intelligent person on this. But
I don't have answers either, of course. No, I'm just
it's hard.
engaging
It's a
in
very
discussion.
hard subject.
Yeah. I mean, there's no easy answer. That's why I wouldn't say, oh, just ban it. And, I'm more of the opinion
It's gonna
that
get worse before it gets better. That's what scares me. That's
it
what
might,
really
yeah.
scares me.
And
Is
that's unfortunate, but I just don't think Roe v. Wade was a sound decision. I can see why it was overturned. And you think otherwise, so we're not going to change each other's mind, but yeah.
Yeah, and what about the Hippocratic Oath for the doctor? Yeah, the doctor's patient is the woman.
Well, okay,
I
but
get what you're
also
saying.
do no harm. They can't harm the life of the baby.
Right, but they also are looking at the patient as the woman. That is not, to be technical, and I'm not trying to be a bitch here. It's not a baby. It's a fetus.
Okay. Well, that now is where we get into the ugly part where people have to decide when that line is crossed from fetus to baby.
And I think that is different with almost every single person.
Yeah. I just don't think that using Roe v. Wade to justify unlimited federal abortions.
And I agree.
Law. So, maybe they'll change it now and they'll set terms, and that would be, I think, more just and more in keeping with constitutional law than how it was before with Roe v. Wade. But it might get worse. Who knows?
It's going to get worse.
We have to see. Well, yeah.
Do you know how
most things get worse
fucking corrupt Clarence Thomas is?
Well, I know he had some kind of thing about a comment about pubes on a soda can.
And his wife was helping with the insurrection. Like, they're not good people. I'm not saying these terrible people are going to help. No, they're imposing their will upon the American people. And that's where I have the issue.
It's not just him. They had to get other people to vote accordingly, but yeah.
And this was, I don't know, a lot of people won't like me saying this, but this is going to lose a lot of red votes. If anything comes positive from this, votes are gone from the red. Women, gay people,
I don't know.
Oh my God, they lost so many votes. I'm sorry. Think of all the gay people that are conservative, which is such a weird thing to me, but whatever. Dave Rubin adopts a child and all the gay people hate it. Like, all the conservatives give him so much shit. It's such a weird concept to me, but they're trying to
really
make
think
it
all
so
conservatives are giving him shit.
Oh my God, did you not see it?
I saw some crazy people. I wouldn't say all conservatives. All, whatever.
Sorry, the majority. I was being a bit hyperbolic. You've been at my channel for some time. You know this.
You're saying that the majority of conservative voters in America sent demeaning messages to Dave Rubin. Millions and millions of people.
The majority of his followers that are conservatives. Yeah, there was so many. There was a few people that gave him well wishes, but there was how many videos of Mark Dice making videos calling him out? Come on now.
Okay,
You
well,
can't tell me you
I don't
didn't
think that's
see it.
everyone. I mean, the internet is just full of crazy people. That's how the internet rolls.
What?
You're just
Yes, it is. And I've noticed how much worse it's getting. And this, don't you realize? This is only going to make it worse. This is only going to divide us more. And what sucks is that's what they want.
Well, I
And
think
it's
we're
working.
already quite divided.
And this is going to make
And
it so much fucking worse. Don't you see that? Like, there is no going back to normal.
well, if it makes it worse, that's kind of an unfortunate byproduct if the original ruling was unsound. You can't legislate, well, this is going to make the country argue with each other more, so we better just let it slide. It's the decision of the constitutional.
Why has it been okay since 1973? But all of a sudden, now that we've got a Republican led 6-3 in the Supreme Court, now it's not sound. We don't live
Okay,
in a
but why was
democracy.
it
That's
okay from
exactly right.
1776 until 1970 whatever, and then all of a sudden it was
Why was what?
well, abortion was not allowed for the
Abortion has
majority
been
in
around for
Northeast.
thousands of years. I hate to break it to you.
I
They were
didn't
just
say it wasn't
backpedaling.
around. I said it was illegal. It was not allowed. And then it
Right, and
changed in
women stood
1970.
up for themselves. Fine,
Okay,
you know, Roe never even got to have an abortion. She had that baby.
yeah.
She never even got. It's just, it's fucking crazy what they
No, I
did to
know,
that
but
woman.
just what you said, has it been okay since 1970 and now it's different? Well, why was it not okay since 1776 and then in 1973 it was okay? It's the same kind of redactive argument. Do you see where I'm going?
Because legality does not equal morality, especially here in the United States.
Okay, so that making it legal does not make it moral. So therefore, why would it matter that it changed in 73 and now we're changing it back?
Why? Because women lost a big right. That was a big blow to women.
Well, we've already established that that wasn't a right. There's no constitutional right to
No, you
unrestricted abortion.
established that. I
I
established that we have rights to privacy. We have rights to our agency. That is literally like saying men need forced vasectomies or they can't masturbate. I'm sorry. Nobody would stand for that if it came to a man.
I don't understand, but this is not about masturbation or vasectomies. This is about another human life.
Right. And sperm added to an egg creates a human life.
Yeah, but we're not talking about masturbation and vasectomies.
I'm
or
saying
vaccines.
about the control.
We're talking about a separate human life.
You're really not seeing the connection here. Like, it's about control. It's not about anything but control and division.
I mean, now we're getting into like conspiracy theory,
yeah.
deep state.
I get it, and that's a nasty road, but and I get what you mean, but honestly, the whole thing grosses me out. I don't want anybody to control me. It's fascistic in nature, and I'm not okay with it.
I know. Well, I mean, that's what government does. It controls all of us, unfortunately.
Right.
But
we're giving them more control now.
Purpose.
We gave them more.
Well, by they, that
government.
doesn't sit right with me because that's more just kind of division, us versus them. It's, you can live in your state where you can just carry on as before, and the people in these other states that don't want that can now not allow that.
Do you think your vote matters when a new person comes in and they gerrymander it so many people's vote don't matter for shit?
I don't think you can legislate according to, rigged elections and gerrymandering.
I'm not saying there was anything rigged. I'm saying legally they can gerrymander and it can pass. We've seen it happen recently.
I mean, that doesn't change
a lot of urban
Whether
areas don't matter. And that's what fucking sucks about this country is that kind of shit is illegal. It's not moral, but it's legal.
yes, but that's not going to change what we're deciding if Roe v. Wade was a valid decision by the courts.
And now we're
And
just
using
not
the
going to agree
14th
on.
Amendment to provide
The Constitution was made so long ago. The fact that you have, I think it was Alito, saying that if it doesn't have a history, then it's not okay is ridiculous. We need to learn to evolve with the times. We do. We've added amendments before. Why not now?
Well, they could add an amendment if they wanted to. No one's stopping them. But now this is more an evolution of the times, so there's more freedom for people to decide what they want. I mean, you can assume that, oh, the states are going to rig this and votes don't matter and et cetera, but that's, a byproduct that's outside, the morality of what we're trying to discuss.
Right. And I understand. And it's just something we're not going to agree on. It's just something we're not going to agree on. And it's no disrespect to you whatsoever, but I want agency. That's all I want. I don't want control. That's simple. That's it. I care about babies. I've been painted in the last few days as this baby murderer. I want baby murder. No. That's not what this is. This is about
Tristan,
control, and that's my issue.
You
I
gotta
know,
stop
right?
with the
I'm
baby
evil. All right, Joe Bustify, it was nice talking to you, but I am going to bring on my next guest.
Bye.
Bye, thank you. So I have Joseph next, but I'm wondering if this is a troll. So I'm going to bring him on real quick, and then I've got Joseph Santos next. Tristan is the devil. I know, right? Are you a person? Like, there's no name. Oh, I don't have a name. Do we have a name? Oh, you're Tristan. Hello? Why does it look? That's so weird. Every time I talk, it bounces. Look. What the fuck? Is this Inception? Bye, Felicia. Hello, Joseph. Hello.
There we go. Sorry. It muted my mic again. I was telling time the goddamn thing mutes your mic by default. You gotta scroll way the fuck down to unmute it. Nothing's convenient in this app.
Nothing whatsoever.
No, nothing's convenient here. Sorry. I want to touch on something because your last guest brought up something that people. It's going to be a little confusing because, as I've explained to you before, the Constitution is a confusing thing.
Yes.
People have to understand there are enumerated rights, the ones that are specifically written, and then there are implicit rights, the ones that you piece together somehow. So, as he said, he was talking about abortion, not a specific constitutional guarantee. He's not wrong.
Right.
Privacy is also nowhere in the Bill of Rights. You sure as shit want your privacy in your life, don't you? Mm-hmm. Okay. Like, let's take, for example, there was a case from the 1960s about it. By the way, I'm never a fan. Is that bothering you? Do you hear it?
No. You're a little bit, but you're totally fine.
Okay, good. This is hot as shit over here. It was 108 degrees in my truck. It was 117 in my truck on Friday. Yes. All right. So, like I said, there is a case in the 1960s where a man was arrested somewhere in Middle America, somewhere in the Bible Belt, for using porn. And he took it all the way to the Supreme Court, and they sided with him. They agreed. The government had no place busting this man for porn, saying that if the First Amendment means anything, it protects what we have the right to do in the privacy of our own homes. So privacy was, again, privacy, at least as it pertains to the First Amendment, is an implicit right.
Right.
Now, somebody else just touched on the Fourth Amendment. I'm scrolling down a minute. How you doing, James? Scrolling down a minute. I was enjoying the chat the whole time, by the way. Something about Saggy saying you're going to start uppercutting people. I'm picturing that, too. Like, I'm picturing you just...
She's awesome.
I'm picturing you just pulling somebody's shirt over their head and just just letting it rip. That would have been excellent. Did you see her show the other night though, where Ezra Miller called in?
What? No.
Please get her to clip that and just post that
Saggy,
video.
clip it.
I shit you not. I listened to that for an entire afternoon. That was the happiest day of my life.
I love Saggy's streams. I'm not gonna lie, they are so entertaining. Like, yeah, she's probably my favorite live streamer. She's so good at what she does, and she keeps me in tune every time. I'm always like, I gotta fucking say something.
Okay, but that's not why I called. I didn't call for that. I called because this is actually something I've been trying to tackle with you since I think March. Basically for months now, because you're a big advocate for representation.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say this again so everybody can hear. You cannot have representation without misrepresenting people at the same time.
Right.
So our intuition says it is a step forward. Upon closer inspection, it is always a step back. And I mean, it's truthfully, it's a step back. Dare I say a step back, maybe, but it's not as productive as people think.
Back?
I find that it's always a step back. I have yet to find that instance where I say this is definitely a step forward by way of representation. I have yet to see it.
Explain.
What about you? Because I don't understand how if other people don't define who I am, then it doesn't matter if they're on screen or they're in comic books or wherever the hell. It doesn't matter if they look like me. I'm who I am anyway.
Okay,
I do what I do.
Okay, hold on. I gotta argue this here. And I'm gonna. You're not white. Am I correct, or you are?
Are you not white?
Are you white?
Oh, nuh-uh. No, I'm almost Guatemalan. So. I'm deep brown.
Okay. So, there are... by the way you're arguing, that's why I was kind of wondering. Okay. I'm going to use Miss Marvel as an example, because it's something newer. It's something that me and Bianca are actually reviewing it tomorrow. Selfless plug right there. We don't... the reason why I think representation is important is because you get introduced to new cultures. You get introduced to something that you're not necessarily see on a daily basis. Miss Marvel brought me back to my childhood. I grew up in a predominantly Muslim area. It brought me back to that time. It introduced many new people to Muslim culture. You literally get to live vicariously through other people. So when you look at representation, like another person that does a great job of telling these stories is Jordan Peele. He does an amazing job at telling stories about Black individuals, or even John Ridley, 12 Years a Slave. These are stories that I'm going to be blunt here. White people aren't used to seeing. Mm-hmm. And then they can learn empathy through other people's struggles. And queer stories are really important because when I was growing up, I didn't know much about sexuality. I was, kind of on my own in that department. I didn't exactly have Mother of the Year material. But there was one story that changed my life. And that was the Matthew Shepard story. It was a MTV special, I think it was, and I watched it. I cried through the whole thing, not understanding how people could take a gay man, tie him up, and torture him. That story changed my life because I learned a lot about the gay experience. I learned what it was like in the early 2000s, to be out and queer. It was something. That's why representation is important, because it's literally changed my thinking time and time again.
I'm going to tell you why misrepresentation is inevitable, and it's going to annoy you. So if you're not sitting down, you should now, because this is a hell of a story.
Oh, gosh.
So I'll keep it short though, so we can keep it going. So when I was in Japan, by the way, I went collectively for about 6 months. So I had quite a decent experience out there. I'm not actually from Los Angeles specifically. I'm in a nearby county. So instead of telling people all the ins and outs of that, I would just say Los Angeles because everybody knew what Los Angeles was. If I gave the other details, like I said, always a story. If I said Los Angeles, everybody knew what that was,
Right.
even over there. And this question came up. Now, again, over between 5 and 6 months collectively, this question came up at least 6 times while I was there. The same questions I was getting in Japan were the same questions I was getting from the Bible Belt about my experiences in Los Angeles. The question is, how do you sleep at night with all of those black people shooting each other? I got that same question. Yes, now let me remind you, I was getting that question in Asia as well as in the Bible Belt. You might expect from the Bible Belt. I learned to expect that way before I went out there. Japan really surprised me. So I had to do some dissecting to figure out why the hell they even bothered asking me that question. And I came to find out they're talking about black people in movies.
Right.
And it was so bad. They even came across a movie from the early 90s called Boys in the Hood, which is just all about a really, really, really bad neighborhood.
Yeah.
The guy's trying to get out of it, get away from that lifestyle, and it just keeps coming back to get them. I was surprised they found that. But they were even talking about Will Smith in Bad Boys, and he was the good cop.
You know, a lot of that representation was originally when it came to representation of black people on screen, a lot of it was they were kind of made up stereotypes. The violence, the gang, the stuff like that. They really pushed that initially.
Can I ask what you mean when you say made up? What is made up?
Fabricated.
Well, no, I understand. No, I understand the terms. I mean, what of the stereotypes were made up?
The violence, the drugs, the urban lifestyle. A lot of that initially was made up, and it almost was like a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way.
Well, there are areas you absolutely should not go to if you're the wrong color.
Oh, I absolutely agree.
And how that message travels, like I said, media is part of it. They weren't just talking
authentic representation, though, like Miss Marvel.
Well, first you have to define authentic. What is authentic to you may not be authentic to someone else. Like, I guess this is relevant and it's just firmly disagreeable because you've seen Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez call out to Puerto Ricans to stop calling themselves white, to call themselves black instead. And there are news videos covering this. You can find them on YouTube. Just scroll up and down the comments section. People talking from native Puerto Rico saying, this is stupid. Because no matter how white, brown, or black you are in Puerto Rico, they just say Puerto Rican. They don't care about that other shit.
Right.
They 100% don't care. So telling these people how to represent themselves, you're misrepresenting them at the same time.
Right. But that's why I said representation is only getting better. And you'll see a lot of the ridiculous pushback. But you get this authentic representation. Like, obviously, one we can use that's really bad was Thor, right? We just went over, oh God, that was terrible. But as long as you get some and this is why I don't necessarily advocate for always having to have black writers or, be authentic, but it helps, right? It helps to know somebody's actual experience. And the more you get that, the more that the world can learn a little fucking empathy, because that's gone. That is gone.
Am I correct? Miles Morales was not created by a black or Puerto Rican male, correct?
No, he was created by Brian Michael Bendis, a white guy.
He was. And you love him, right? Well, I know you're not the biggest Marvel fan. I get that, but he's a beloved character.
Yeah, and I think some great using him as an example. The what's it called? The multiverse. I can't even think of what it's called. Miles movie with that had an amazing
Through
animation.
the Spider-Verse.
Yes,
Yeah, the Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse.
Right?
Thank you. That was great, authentic representation.
He was a good character. I had, that was how I got to know Miles Morales most. I really and I know that movie is probably not his best representation, but it was still. That's how I got to learn anything about the character, because there's just so many stories. Like, I like the characters that we see and such, but I don't like keeping track of every single storyline. Plus I pay for my own apartment. I got to be careful how I have my fun.
Right, and I understand that, but that was a great way to represent that character and to have great representation on screen. 1 second. I got to fix my mic.
Go ahead. And by the way, to the audience, how I sound. Somebody said that I sounded a bit off. I'm also on a cell phone. I'm a little too close, so sorry if that's bothering people.
Okay, I think I got it. My shirt was in the way and it was wrapped around my mic, and I was like moving things everywhere and making a mess, so I think I'm good now.
Oh, okay.
But yes, I don't see how anybody can look at representation and say it's always misrepresentation. I think absolutes do us a lot of harm.
Let us ignore Miles Morales. Let's just say whatever the hell was on screen was purple. Would you have seen, after all was said and done, a black character or a good character?
Why does it matter what color they were if the character is a good representation for black?
Well, my point exactly is that a good representation of a person should be all that matters. When I was growing up,
it means something to somebody. Who am I to take that away?
Let me borrow from an influence here, because my father, native-born Puerto Rican. So where he grew up, everybody, like I said, everybody saw themselves. They just said Puerto Rican.
Right.
They didn't even much say the white, the white, the brown, black, and all that. They just said Puerto Rican. I was never taught to give a shit about any of that, especially in my time growing up, because something that a lot of people really don't know, the gang problem, especially among brown folk, is really bad. It is so bad. It's inconceivable in some neighborhoods to go 3 households without finding someone who's
Let me ask you something. What's what do you care about your culture?
I am me. I don't have a culture. My culture is whatever I choose to do for myself at the time.
Right. But you can't take that away from other people who do care about their culture.
And I'm not going to tell them they shouldn't do what they enjoy.
And that's why I said Miss Marvel was so good, because it has extremely authentic culture representation. So much we're seeing, like Eid and all these amazing festivals. We're looking at the mosque. Like, it took me back, and I know it's more personal because it took me back to my childhood. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't care about your culture, that's fine. But other people do. And they want
what
good
makes it my
representation
culture
of that.
But what makes it my culture?
Whatever you want, however you grow up, however you celebrate, whatever you the food you eat, the way that you
better
worship.
Question. Better. In other words, actually, I shouldn't respond with questions. I should just say it does not belong to me. I belong to me. My choices belong to me. A culture does not belong to me. That's what I'm told, and I have yet to find anyone who can actually convincingly tell me why it belongs to me, other than other people said so, and I still don't agree. I don't. Why it belongs to me? Does that mean I'm supposed to care? Does that mean I'm supposed to care for it? That I'm supposed to?
Do.
They do, yes, but if you're talking to someone like me specifically, is this something I'm supposed to take care of and preserve? And if so, why is that? Or what is consequential if I do not?
It feels like you have a little bit of angst towards your growing up, or however you your personal culture. Feels like
How's
he
that?
might. I don't know. Like, I've never heard anyone like say, "Why is it my culture?" Well, that's just. What I mean by culture is necessarily what you do, the way you celebrate art, the way you celebrate socially. If you go to different, 4th of July is coming up. That's part of American culture. And that's okay.
Right. I'm not going to knock on anybody for celebrating anything. What cultural food am I into? I have a rice and beans family just like vast majority of brown people. Shit.
So there we go. So you are okay with, so don't you, now I know this is different for every person, but do you want personal representation or are you okay with anything?
I am okay with anything. There's a reason.
Okay.
I look to good people. I look to what good people do, not how good people are supposed to look. And the issue with representation is it emphasizes the latter, not the former. Our intuition tells us that this is the right thing to do. Like I said, and I know there are some people, there have been certain times circumstantially where people have saw somebody of a similar skin color and it shattered a stereotype in their mind. So you take somebody like that. The only reason that was possible is because that person who had these poor misconceptions of themselves, or this poor conception of themselves, it was only possible because for some reason they defined themselves by their skin color.
Sometimes that's okay. And sometimes it's not about personal representation. It's about learning about somebody else. It's about learning through their experience. It's about seeing a culture that, I know I'm not the only one because I know Comics by Perch said the same thing. Whenever I talk about Miss Marvel, I get the most racist comments. And you know what?
Why is that?
People need to see because she's Muslim.
Oh, okay. Like I said, I don't follow closely, but okay, go ahead.
And that's why we need Muslim representation. Because the more you see the other cultures, the more you see people that are black, brown, white, pink, I don't fucking care. The more it feels normal to you and the less you care when you see them. Look at how upset people were for seeing a black person in Star Wars. Fucking Star Wars that has aliens.
I think that's more recent political talk because people forget that one of the most beloved characters from the original trilogy, Lando, is black. Like they don't make a mystery of it. He wasn't painted kind of light. Like he was black.
Now, Darth Vader was voiced by a black man.
Voiced by black. Now, obviously, you don't see that on screen. But then let's also go a little bit further to the second trilogy. You had Sam Jackson. I don't know that I heard anybody talking about a black man on screen when it was Sam Jackson. I just heard people were happy to see Sam Jackson on screen just because they liked him. And that's really what I'm getting at, that when people are likable, they don't pay attention to skin color. When I was growing up, of course, we had all the usual comic book characters. These guys are way the hell older than either one of us. But a hero that was someone that was called hero, regardless of skin color. It was amongst males, regardless of skin color, was Bruce Lee. He's Chinese. Okay? The Mexicans loved him. The blacks loved him. The white people loved him.
From my understanding, wasn't he kind of pissed he was always a side character, though?
Yes.
You see why that's an issue?
Mm-hmm. I do understand. Yeah, he came from a time where, yes, he was typecasted. He was reduced to certain functions on screen. There's a gap in his history I'm missing because I know, skipping ahead, he eventually found lead roles. I do understand that, but that's him on screen. And of course, yeah, we learn through him mostly on screen. But when I talked to people growing up, it was never about Chinese. They wanted to be Bruce Lee, not always for the right reasons. A lot of people saw him as the guy that was going to win the fight. That's really what it is. But they also saw him as someone standing up for the right thing. There was plenty of that. But no mention of him being Chinese ever ever came up in conversation amongst us. We did not care. None of us were taught to care. None of us ever, really, and I mean that, and especially also understand that the vast majority of the people I've ever met growing up were brown like me. Things like this were just really not talked about. Not a hell of a lot. You'd hear it once in a while. You'd hear someone say, the brown folk had Jennifer Lopez. For a while, that was it. And then you had some musicians, some on Mexican TV that you don't know. I don't even know. So occasionally the conversation would come up. About why don't they on screen look like me? And it was always over and done with. It was never a serious issue. Even today, it's not a serious issue. When my family, again, Dad was born in Puerto Rico, met Mom in New York with the rest of the Puerto Ricans. You've probably heard of this when West Side Story came out. There was, there, at least amongst the Puerto Ricans, there was no controversy. Like, nobody didn't know those weren't Puerto Ricans. Like, a handful of the actors were actually Latino characters, but like the vast majority of them were actually white people painted up. There weren't any Puerto Ricans that didn't know that. They just called it acting. There wasn't any outrage documented, if any outrage notable over the fact that white people played a role. They acted. There was no real concern for that, and that's probably because largely Puerto Ricans did not care. Like I said, they don't go by the superficial, the white, the brown, the black Puerto Rican. They really just say Puerto Rican. And so you're asking me because you asked me earlier about angst. That's what I learned from. I learned from a native Puerto Rican not to give a shit about that. This is the most awesome thing about not being white. I will tell you right now. I'm going to tell the entire audience. I have never spent a dime on sunblock, and it is awesome. Because being white does look kind of expensive. Are you still there, by the way? Hello? Hello? Wait, you guys hear me but not Tristan? Holy shit, I am talking to myself. Fuck yeah, I own this. I own this show. I always knew I would. I own your show, Tristan. I own your show. This belongs to me now. What do you guys want to talk about on my show? Oh, wait, hold on. Figure drawing, you asked a question. You can understand why Bruce is more godlike in Asia. I do. And to that, I'd say it's overdone. The man did good things. But the man did good things. The individual did good things. Okay, yes, there is a lot to learn from Bruce's story. I need sunblock regardless of skin color. Bullshit. No, I don't. I have never spent a cent. I've never even let anybody borrow money for sunblock. Okay, nobody. I've never in my life used sunblock. I'm never going to. No, you gotta understand. You haven't seen me yet. I am